On this episode of Buff's Garage, I'm headed out to PBG-West, but first I have to get to Dalton and Jess's place in Kansas City, so why not drop off the courtesy car? Well, as most of you know, I am headed out to Pole Barn Garage West, which is in New Mexico, where I have purchased a really rough 1968 Chevelle. So that is a Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu. I mean, it's as muscle car as it gets. And it's also just like my first car. Now, this episode isn't all about that Chevelle, but here's a little throwback. So 1968 Chevelle, pulled it out of a field, had a 307 factory, but by the time I got it, somebody put a 350 with an automatic transmission in it, and it was in a field, and we towed it home, got it running, and I drove it in high school until I'm pretty sure someone tattled on me and said I was going way too fast down a back road, and next thing I know, Dad told me he had to make me sell it because of gas mileage. That wasn't the issue. Anyway, I had to sell it, got some other four-door beater car. He didn't realize the big back seat did not solve most of my problems. So anyway, we've got to get this El Camino all the way to Kansas City. That's about a 3 to 3.5 hour drive, and it's cold. I mean, it's warmer than it has been. It's like 40 degrees right now, but this car has no heat. Sketchy headlights, and it might make it. I don't know. We drove it all the way from Oklahoma City to Kansas City, and then I drove it from Kansas City back down to Oklahoma, and now I got to go from Oklahoma to Kansas City again. Tires are aired up. We're gonna check all the fluids, and then I'm off. One of the main issues with this car is it has no hood springs. The hinges are there, but it has no springs to hold the hood up. And you risk damaging the windshield every time you open the hood. Which is why I try never to open the hood. Now, I've got this piece of swing set here. That'll be our prop rod. Truly, that is not scary at all. Literally, a set of hood springs would fix this problem, but not my car. It only becomes my problem if I'm under it when it falls. So let's top everything off and get going. And with any project or journey, sometimes you got to pivot. But when debt piles up from credit cards, loans, and medical bills, it can feel like it's hijacking your future. You know, when you're out on the open road and you start hearing a noise, you're not going to just ignore that. You want to figure out what's going on before you have the breakdown. And that's why more people turn to PDS Debt. They've helped hundreds of thousands escape the trap, pay less, and take back the driver's seat. PDS Debt has custom options to get you out of debt. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation, and they craft a personalized plan designed just for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt, and put that money back in your pocket where it belongs. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. It boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and holds a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS Debt has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. We've all had debt. I mean, we have a car addiction. So at some point or another, we've dealt with financial challenges. Don't wait until debt forces you off the road. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pdsdebt.com/buff. pdsdebt.com/buff. I want to thank PDS Debt for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to work. There's the dipstick. There it is. Or am I the dipstick? I don't know. This is where I check the oil. You know, it's only just a tad bit low. It says it's at the add mark. So I'll go see if I can find some of the finest oil that I have, which is probably garbage. But then I noticed when I pulled it around that the transmission was a little sluggish, so we're going to want to check that too. Might as well. I wasn't sure, and neither was Dalton, if we ever put coolant in it, but I'm pretty sure we did. But I mean, there's nothing in it right now, so can't freeze if there's nothing in it. I have some of this farm store antifreeze left. Someone mentioned in the last video, oh, I guess we're full. Someone mentioned in the last video that I didn't know how to mix my antifreeze, making sure that I had the right ratios and such. I think what they're missing is that most of my vehicles had water. So any coolant added in there is going to help it from freezing. I would love to do the half and half trick, but I wasn't going to dump the entire cooling system, except for Fred, just to get it perfectly right. It's perfectly close enough. But let's add some oil, then I'll fire it up, make sure there's plenty of coolant, and then we'll check the transmission. For oil, I've got the ultra cheap Harvest King. You know, Tractor Supply stuff. It wasn't even at Tractor Supply, it was at Farm Store, Atwood's, I think. You know, farm store. Big funnel. The key to keeping this from glugging as you pour it in is to pour it sideways. Yeah, that's about a quart. Let's fire this sucker up. Let's add a way to get rid of all these leaves. That's so much better. Nice clear spot. Now let's do that about 15 more times. Not warmed up yet, but it says it's a quart low. Oh, now it's not even showing up. That's fine. 20 full. Oh, I see part of the problem. Belt decided to go away. Hopefully I've got another one. Not sure why that happened. People told me I didn't know how to do belt alignment on any of my stuff, but yet this is Dalton's car. Let's see if I can go find a belt. Alright, this one's a 15470 that snapped. I got a 15440, a couple of those. I don't know, they might not be enough, but we can try it. Looks like crank, alternator, and water pulley, or water pump pulley. Well, this one is a 15470. These are 15440s. I got a 15480, and a 15465. One of them will work. Also brought 2 wrenches because you never know. I was pretty sure it was a half. But I wasn't convinced. I mean, I can always pick up one on the way, but that's kind of hard to do if you're stuck on the side of the road. Oh, this is sketchy. Don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Not sure why it shredded. It's definitely, I don't know if it was slipping. Like, it made a little noise a while back when I fired it up for the first time in a long time. And I figured it was just from sitting. Big block and an El Camino is kind of tight. All right, well, 15440 does not fit. Looks like it's going to be 15465. You know, I might even have another one in Falkenstein somewhere because I always had an extra belt in him, but I'd rather not steal from him unless I absolutely have to. All right, 15465 looks to be a winner. Let's pull that snug. That seems snug. And there's a little travel left that if I have to go with this bigger one, I can. So I'm gonna just bring it. Because you just never know. All right. We'll just take that back to Dalton and warranty it. All right, with all the fluids topped off, let's fire it up again. Making bolts again. Sure, I think it's good enough for 3 hours. Why do it right when you can do it right now? Onward to PBG, Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. I'm going to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little cars there, and I'm gonna get me one. Or two, or probably more than I need. temp gauge hasn't moved. That's promising. But I remember, even during the heat of the summer, we were driving for hours and the temp gauge didn't move. So I think it's going to be fine. Oh no, it's another one of those cars where everybody stops and stares at it and wants to talk about it. And it's not even my car, it's a loaner. All right, let's fuel this pig up and head north. 10 gallons. Look at that. It was $2.04 a gallon. That's awesome. Especially when you're driving a big block. But it's been sitting so long, I guess I should go ahead and give it the car wash. There, perfect. That's what you want to do. Yeah, we won't worry about any of that. None of this. Oh yeah, that's perfect. I'm glad I don't have windshield wipers. That's going to be super helpful. Might just go ahead and do the rest of the car while we're at it. Yeah, that made no difference. Just as I said, it was another 20-minute fuel stop because, you know, everybody wanted to come up, talk about the car. People were literally pulling off Route 66 just to come check out the car. It's not even one of the coolest cars either one of us have, but something about an El Camino gets people's attention. All right, now onward, north to Kansas City. I don't have any idea why we threw the belt. I don't even remember throwing the belt the first time at home, so I'm not sure exactly why it's happening. I don't know if I've got a water pump trying to lock up or alternators act. I don't know. I don't know. But here we are, side of the road. Guess we're gonna try to fix it. So I didn't lose the belt, but it did flip on itself. So I'm gonna try the little bit bigger belt here. We'll get it fed in. We'll feed it in behind the fan and get it around the pulley. And then, you know, we'll just see. Nothing feels wobbly or like it's coming apart. Alternator spins fine. Water pump spins great. Lower pulley's fine. I honestly don't know what has happened. It's pretty snug. So the alignment isn't perfect on that alternator, but it made it all the way from Oklahoma City to Kansas City and then Kansas City back to Oklahoma. So I just needed to make it back to Kansas City and then it's not my problem. All right, new belt on, it's tight. Let's get going. Again. say we're about to lose the water pump. When we got some RPMs on it, all of a sudden it's starting to squeal. Now it's intermittent. Just cruising right now, it seems to be okay. So I think it's probably trying to fail. And I don't remember changing that water pump. So it's probably due. If it goes, it goes. I got the old belt that we can put back on there. I mean, honestly, if I could just get to a parts store and get a water pump, and it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Because it's only like 30-40 minutes away, but this is Buff's garage. I can apparently destroy just about any car on the road, including Pole Barn Garage's car. So far everything's holding together. It's starving for fuel when I'm going up a hill, and that's with a full tank, so maybe the 5 fuel filters between the tank and the pump, maybe that's a problem. I don't really know. The fuel in the filter that I could see in the engine compartment looked fairly clean, so the 5 filters are doing their job. But we should probably look to remove at least 1 or 2 out of the system back there. They're either plugged up or just starving the engine. We've got the big carburetor on this thing, 750 I believe, and it needs a lot of fuel. Even though I haven't gone very far, I may stop up here and just double check everything. So far, we're holding together. Well, I double checked to make sure the tank was full, and literally 2.5 gallons later, there's a little drip on the pavement. I definitely did not just put gas everywhere. So I'm going to slow roll away from here just as fast as I can and see why we're surging. It could be the fuel filters, but it could also be the pump going out because the car sat for so long. I don't know. The right thing to do is to go and gather a bunch of parts and tools and be prepared. But instead, I think I'm going to just keep motoring on. I've got 142 miles left. Should be just a little over 2 hours, depending, right? We don't know what this car is going to do. It might be midnight before I get there, but ain't going to get there sitting here. Let's get out of here. My concern about being cold is unfounded. It's super warm today. I even got the window open. Let's get some air movement going. for whatever reason, when I'm going uphill, even if it's a slight grade up, that's when it really starts surging. And one would think that the fuel tank is low or something, but that's not the case. We've tested that. We know it's full. When I'm on a relatively flat plane, it drives fine. Any other time, it acts like it's starving. So I don't honestly know. I mean, I could start taking fuel filters out and see if that helps. But at the end of the day, if we've starved the fuel pump, maybe the fuel pump's going out. I don't know. Still running, so I guess we're going to keep going. Uphill and it just starts surging. I think it's just not keeping up with the demand. We've got a big 750 4-barrel carb, and the fuel pump's probably pumping as fast as it can, but sucking through a straw at this point with all of those filters that are probably clogged. So I'm just going to pull off and systematically start removing filters until we see an improvement. When I stop and it has time to build up pressure again, it's fine. I think we forgot that we had a fuel hungry big block in this thing. So, all right, let's start pulling parts off. Pulled into a random big box store parking lot, kind of sheltered a little bit with the big truck and trailer over here. So let's crawl underneath and see if anything's plugged up. Well, in perfect Buff's Garage fashion, you know I brought a wrench. And that's not what I need to take this fuel filter out. So I'm gonna actually dig into Christmas presents. One I brought for Dalton, because I think it's gonna be exactly what I need here. He'll obviously not see this video before I give him his present, so yeah, I got him some tools as well. Some of you guys actually got some tools like that by going to buffsgarage.com during the 12 days of Buffmas. I sent some of these and some other various tools out, and hopefully everyone is getting good use out of them, because I'm going to get good use out of, well, Dalton's present. Well, this fuel tank does have a little leak right there, but that's not enough. Like, we're not running out of fuel. I think our problem is in all of these fuel filters up here. So let's see. Now my goal here is to completely get covered in fuel, apparently. Oh, really? Who's the crappy hose clamps? That's probably me. It's tight under here with it without a jack. Can I even get to that one? Oh, that's right. We had it up on jack stands and or a lift. Okay. I sure wish these air shocks worked. I mean, they do for a minute. Well, I unhooked the one that goes to the fuel line, and no fuel poured out. So I guess that's pretty evident of what's happening. But I think we're about to make a mess, so let's pull that one off. I think that was our hang up there. Oh yeah. That's brown. That's definitely a problem. Oh, yeah, it's like mud. Hey, it did its job. And still doing its job. It'll be fine. Of course, I'm not near a parts store, but I'm sure I can figure something out. Apparently, we only had 2 back here, and at least 1 under the engine compartment. So 3 total, not 5, like I thought. It'll be okay. Which means I have to get out of here. Well, never fear. Dalton was here. It ain't 25 foot of fuel line, but it'll do. See if we can find a way to join these together, because I don't want to drop the tank to reconnect it. Well, if one of those fuel filters isn't clogged, we can just use it to join them back together. All right, time to get skinny again. Why can't I just get in a car and drive it and not have to fix it halfway along the way? Like, why? It's a good old Wix filter. So this one had nothing come out of it. So the first filter did all the work and was probably starving the whole system. And by the time it got to this filter, that was just slowing it down more. Then it gets to the pump, and then it gets to that filter, and that one was doing its job as well. But eventually we just ran out of pressure. Well, I don't know if it fixed our problem or not, but we definitely found that it was clogged up, and maybe this might fix it. You know, go through the bed of the car, truck, El Camino, whatever, because sometimes you'll find a whole bunch of fuel hose, some clamps, some extra tools, or, you know, open your Christmas presents, or in this case, someone else's Christmas present, and you might find what you need to fix the problem. Although we haven't proven I fixed anything yet. Let's find out. Give the bowls a second to see if they're going to run out of fuel, because it's going to run off the bowls. Sounds a lot better. Not starving. All right, I say let's hit it. Better than it was. Now this one's probably going to get clogged up too, but let's just hope it doesn't happen until I get to Kansas City, and then it's someone else's problem. Well, it's doing the thing again, and it's doing it very well. I think that was our problem. And we'll just pretend like the bearing noise from the front of the engine and the belt, and we'll just pretend like we haven't heard that for the last hour, because I actually didn't think about it with all the surging and all those problems, so we just consider that fixed. All right, maybe one more stop for fuel and then we're there. I've just been cruising along without a care in the world and realized that I'm probably not going to make it all the way to Pole Barn Garage without topping off the fuel. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm pretty sure I could have gotten real close to making it, but I also know me well enough that I was probably going to run out, and I didn't bring an extra gas can this time. So let's just top it off and then continue on. Well, 8 gallons filled it up. Don't know if that's good mileage or not, but it ain't bad. I think I've gone at least 100 miles, so that's doing better than 10 miles per gallon, and I'll take it. So it looks like we got about 45-ish miles to go. So we better hit it before we lose the sun and the heat. as you can see, I'm almost to Pole Barn Garage, and the car's doing fine. Whatever was throwing the belt, we've fixed, I suppose. Here in a minute, it ain't gonna matter to me. If it is the water pump going out, I will let Dalton know, and he can deal with it, or he can ignore it, forget, and then later have it be an issue. The fuel tank is definitely leaking, so we'll just tell him that we did top it off, but it must have leaked out. We would never bring back a courtesy car not full. It's like a rental thing, except without paying money. I guess I paid some money, put a belt, oil, and stuff like that in it, but I truly appreciate him allowing me to borrow this car to get home when he drove me all the way to his house and left me stranded last time. So one of the reasons why we didn't just meet up at my place on the way to New Mexico is I wanted to drop these Christmas presents off to him and Jess and JD. I hadn't seen them for a while, well, since Poverty Tour. And I wanted them to get their Christmas presents before we went out to New Mexico, and then, let's be honest, I would definitely forget. So, car made it. It's not that it went a ridiculous amount of miles. It's not that I sat and put everything together. It's that this car was built by Dalton, Puddin, and I in less than a week. We took it drag racing. We drove it from Oklahoma City to Kansas City. And then I drove it from Kansas City to Oklahoma again, and now Oklahoma back. So what I can say is, with a little bit of maintenance, this car is a proven highway cruiser. It has made the journey. It still does not have heat. It still has no dash whatsoever, but all in all, it's a pretty good car. So I'm proud of it. I'm glad it's coming home. And I think Dalton has missed it as well. Now I can't forget to celebrate my journey with an extreme Snickers. Let's go give this thing back. Well, with the car back home in its rightful place, now we're going to go check out my next project, which you're going to see on another episode of Buff's Garage. Thanks for watching. What did I buy this time?